Welcome back to another episode on Coffee with Craner. Today I have Adam Castle here. He is the Director of Venture Services for WEtech Alliance. He's also the President of the Red Shoe Society in Windsor-Essex. This guy, he is involved in Windsor-Essex. He's fun, energetic, ready to go, and I'm glad to have him on the show today. So thank you for being here today, Adam.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Lyndon. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
So every live stream, I have to ask, the first question is, where do you like to have your favorite cup of coffee in Windsor-Essex?
So I'm a big fan. Actually, under this polo, I have a T-shirt on that says Anchor on it. I'm a huge fan of Anchor Coffee. The owners there are good friends of ours, and we absolutely love them. And so they're my favorite coffee shop. I gotta say though, I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm a tea guy, and
Awesome.
and so I really like Windsor Tea Emporium on Ottawa Street is one of our favorite places to shop. They've got incredible teas, so that's what I'm sipping on right now.
Perfect. I like tea as well. Today I'm just drinking some espresso in my Coffee with Craner mug. I'll have to get you one of those as well.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it.
So for the people watching, I mentioned that you're Director of Venture Services for WEtech Alliance in Windsor, and then I also mentioned you're President at Red Shoe Society Windsor-Essex. Are you able to give us a brief intro to what those two organizations are?
For sure. So WeTech Alliance is one of my great loves. I think it's one of the best jobs I've ever had. And so WeTech Alliance is a regional innovation center. We're actually one of 17 across Ontario. So people are probably familiar with the term Communitech, which is a big one in Waterloo, or Mars, which is the really big one out of Toronto. And basically we exist to help tech companies scale, grow, and start their businesses. And that's sort of what we focus on at the heart of that. We also have some peripheral organizational programming as well for larger organizations in our Innovation Catalyst program that my colleague and best friend Adam Fry leads, the other Adam as people refer to him as, and also some other programming that we run as well, like Nerd Olympics that John Mark runs, who's our programming manager there, which helps to sort of create community in our tech ecosystem, and a whole bunch of other things too. But our main focus is on helping tech companies start and grow and scale into new markets and into this market as well in Ontario.
Awesome. So give me some insight on what is Red Shoe Society?
Yeah, so Red Shoe Society is in support of Ronald McDonald House Charities, Southwestern Ontario. And so there's chapters of us anywhere there's a Ronald McDonald House. And basically we exist as a group of philanthropic young leaders who really want to give back. We love and believe in the message and mission of Ronald McDonald House, which is, of course, to keep families close in times of crisis. And so what we do is we raise fundraising, we raise awareness, and we do volunteer work on behalf of the home, which is always needed. You know, in the last year, we helped out close to 500 families in Windsor-Essex at Ronald McDonald House here. But sort of chapter-wide, we've helped out many, many more. Our house extends down into London as well. And we have families that come as far away as Northern Ontario and North Bay to come stay at our London house. So it's a pretty big operation there.
Awesome. I think you're doing great things in the community. I definitely look up to you, and I appreciate all that you're doing, especially for Red Shoe Society as well. It touches the hearts of many in Windsor-Essex. So thank you for that.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it, and we appreciate you as well. You're doing some amazing things.
Thank
definitely
you.
On a lot of people's radar, that's for sure.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So today's topic is about staying creative in quarantine, and Adam's going to give us some insight on that. So we'll kind of lead into the first question, and thank you to everyone who's watching today. If you do have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. Adam and I would be happy to answer them. Let's start an engaging conversation, and let's inspire you to be more creative. So the first question we have today is, what are some ways, Adam, that you are being creative during quarantine?
Yeah, that's a good question. And you know what? First, I kind of want to say a bit of a disclaimer, right? If you're out there and you're watching or you're listening to this afterwards on a podcast version and you're saying like, creativity, I slept for 23 hours on Saturday. That's totally okay. So, you know, I want everyone to know that however you're feeling right now is good. It's okay. It's normal. I don't think anyone's really dealt with anything on this scale before, right? So we're all just really trying to do our best. Thankfully at WEtech Alliance, our clients that we serve in that tech space, in Windsor-Essex and Chatham-Kent, they haven't taken a break, right? They're still creating, they're still innovating, they're doing really amazing things. And I always try and work at least as hard as they do. That's sort of my mandate. It's meant rethinking some of the ways that we actually interact with our clients, right? How do we deliver our services? Offering things online is kind of the natural right now, and I think everyone's going towards that. But it goes a little bit deeper. So thinking about how do we create ways to help our businesses to spur their own growth? How do we help them pivot in this time? Maybe they've got some skills or technology that they can use to apply to this problem. But so that's really gone sort of hand in hand. Also, we've had to be really attentive to the relationships that we've created, right? So as advisors, we've got these really close relationships with our clients. Entrepreneurship is tough enough as it is, right? On its own, normal times, everything's great. It's still a really hard thing to do. And so being able to pay attention to the mental wellness of our clients as well has been a big priority of mine. So really checking in and talking about them as people, not just as business owners, right?
Exactly.
I would say, yeah, for sure. On a personal level, I would say I'm usually out at events almost every night, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm on not just the Red Shoe board, but I'm also on the Ronald McDonald House board, a number of other charities and organizations in Windsor-Essex. So always out and busy. But really, my default setting is as an introvert. So I really enjoy this extra time to do some DIY projects at home. I've been deep diving into my reading list, which is great. And this past weekend, my wife and I held a creative baking competition.
Okay.
Where she won pretty handily. So we'll see. I guess we'll have a part two at some point.
Awesome. So, Adam, what is inspiring your creativity, especially during this time?
Yeah, I think, the why of what motivates us, it should really be where we all start when we start with, what kind of goals do we want to set? We know that this crisis is a catalyst for creativity, right? We know that any crisis could be a catalyst for creativity. And on a personal level, sorry, that's the dog.
That's okay.
On a personal level, I think that everything really comes back to gratitude for me. So we're in this really scary time where you can trace your anxiety back to its source. And that source is always boiling down to fear of loss, right? Recognizing that you're afraid to lose something is really where that anxiety comes from. And I think once you've done that, you can flip it into something new, which is appreciation for what you have and what could potentially be lost, right? So with that as your sort of foundation, the question becomes, I'm so thankful for what I have. How can I make an impact and help others to really appreciate and have more of what they could possibly have as well, right? So how do you sort of duplicate that and multiply all the good stuff that's in your life? And that to me is where everything comes from, is how can I make an impact? How can I make things better for others? How can I share what I've been so blessed to have in my life, right?
Awesome. It's great to hear that it's others that are inspiring your creativity and helping others, especially during this time. So we appreciate that. If you could say, what would be the time of day, full honesty, that you're most creative? It could be 3 a.m. It could be, and what time and why?
Yeah, so I'm a morning thinker. So I love to get up before everybody else and everything else, right? Before even the robins come out in the mornings. And I absolutely love to put up most of my big challenges on myself in that early morning space. I like it to be quiet, right?
Yeah.
But I think that that's such like a misnomer. So I know that there's all of this sort of culture around people that get up at 5 a.m. and that's the most important thing. And you got to get up earlier if you want to accomplish big things. But a lot of really great thinkers are night owls as well. And I would say our team as well is evenly split between the early risers and the night owls too. So I think whatever time works for you is completely the right time.
Yes. I would say I'm probably a night owl. I'm usually up late thinking. That's probably when the magic happens. So it all
Okay.
depends on yourself, and as long as you're getting the right sleep, I think it doesn't matter what time, as long as it's getting done, right?
And do you have like a very specific, like, this is my thinking chair, this is exactly where it happens, or is it
Uh,
wherever it strikes?
so it depends. Like sometimes I'll be in the shower and I'll think of something, think of an idea, or I'll be out for a walk, or it could be anywhere. But right here is the office.
Oh,
So
for sure. I
yeah,
always get it. I get hit with ideas too when I'm driving a lot because I
yeah.
find I'll like replay conversations and I'll have a chance to give things some room to breathe. I find
Mhm.
that's for me is when I do my best think is anytime I
Yes.
have a chance to reflect on an interaction or reflect on an idea that I'm supposed to come up with. I'm always at my best.
It looks like John's a shower thinker, so
He
that's
sure is, yeah, and
and
it's great that he showers. So we're excited for that. John Mark is our program manager for our program director rather for WeTech Alliance. So he comes
okay.
up with some incredible marketing campaigns. Based everything that you see out of WeTech Alliance is all thanks to him. He's internationally award winning, and so he's also one of the funniest people I know. So
Yeah, glad to have you on the show, John Mark. I asked people in the comments what they're doing to stay busy. Julia says she's going for walks, watching Coffee with Craner. That's a for sure one. And then baking sums up her quarantine as well.
amazing. You'll have to pay her a few dollars later for saying so.
Yeah, I might have to. Alui is preparing pizza and learning how to cut hair. Yeah, I definitely need a haircut soon. I
Nice.
agree
Yeah, I took all of mine off, so I don't have to worry about that anymore, but, it's a great skill to have, especially in quarantine.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So this kind of brings in, if there's any business owners in the chat or watching this afterwards, Adam's going to give us some explanation on what business owners can do to stay creative during this time.
Yeah, so I think there's so much. And again, going back to that point of like, if you're not feeling creative, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling super anxious, that's all part of this process, right? That's all normal. And so, I'm always wary of experts that are coming out of the woodwork to tell you how to live your life or how to direct your business. These are all sort of frameworks, but I think that now is really a perfect time to dive into what does it mean to make sort of a sustainable change in the way you're doing business. So we actually just launched a new program series called Digital Shift, and that's in partnership with the Ontario Tourism Innovation Lab. So it actually starts on May 19th, and we're going to be talking about this exact thing. So I don't want to give away too many of the secrets, but it really all boils down to getting back to basics, right? Entrepreneurs aren't their business, even if that isn't an easy way to separate all the time, right? It's sometimes hard to differentiate between the entrepreneur and their business, but at the heart of it, they're a species that are designed to be adaptable, right? Entrepreneurs and humans are both extremely adaptable and know how to sort of roll with punches. And so what they have to do, what anyone has to do right now is think about what is the base value that you're providing, and then go back to what are some interesting ways that I can provide that may be different from what I'm already doing. So taking a look at the channels at which you're providing things, and you're providing your value, but really it's coming back to what are my core skills, what am I able to do better than anybody else, and how can I deliver those in some unique and new ways, right? And so that's what I would implore businesses to think about is, figure out the way that startups behave. The quintessential startup behaves in a way that's very agile. It's very reliant on being able to pivot quickly and maneuver quickly and respond to market conditions, right? And so that's actually something that we're going to be teaching in this webinar series is exactly how to create these really innovative experiments within your business and try out new ideas, right? And then how to really move forwards when you find a promising one in a sustainable way. And that I can't stress enough is we've got businesses that are right now, they're making these sort of knee jerk reactions. But because we know now that this isn't something that's just going to happen and then go away, we want to make sure that everybody is doing things in a sustainable way. So if you're a business and you're thinking about how do I maneuver, it's how do you maneuver for the long term, right? If you're looking at a digital shift, we want you to think about it for how do you do this for good, right? And turn it out to be something that becomes a really good core part of your business going forward, because we're in it for the long haul here as well.
Yes. So WeTech Alliance posted it here. You can register for the Digital Shift backyard event right here. I put the link there, and you can also check it in the comments. But from this event here, what are some big takeaways that somebody can have after they attend?
Yeah, so this one is because we partnered with the Ontario Tourism Innovation Lab. It's actually open to all businesses in Ontario, but we're going to be focusing in on some key businesses in that backyard tourism space. Tourism has been hit extremely hard by COVID-19. They were one of the first sort of industries to really take the big hit, and so we want to make sure that we're attentive to that industry. But really, you can walk away having known a few things. You'll actually have some templates and some worksheets that you're going to be able to take away and apply to a bunch of different problems. And so some of those problems are going to be, how do I actually create this experiment? How do I think about things in a way that I can actually create an experiment that's sustainable, that allows me to test things and test assumptions, and then walk away having a better idea of what's going forward? So we actually break down every one of these workshops into 4 sort of key parts. So the first is react, which is what am I going to do right now? And that comes down a lot of the time to communication, to customers, and to existing people and stakeholders that you sort of work with. The next is plan. So what am I going to do in that 3 to 5 month sort of period that's going to be different enough to keep me going? And, I don't think I would hazard to say anybody's going to thrive under this. There may be some, but it's going to be very few, right? So what we want to do is essentially make sure that these businesses have the runway they need in order to get out of sort of the valley and back into a peak. And then the third part is the recovery process. So what does this look like as a new normal, which is a total ubiquitous term that's being used right now? But how do I move forward as a business owner? How do I move forward as a business in a way that, again, is sustainable? I can't stress that enough, but looks maybe very different from what I'm currently doing, but delivers the same value, right? So it comes back to that. What is the core of what I'm doing and I've always wanted to do, and how do we continue to deliver that perhaps in a new way, because it's a different sort of time period, right? It's a different society than the one we left early March when all of this started.
Awesome. So you've heard it from Adam himself. Click on the comments below, register this. It'll help your business spark new creativity and figure out how you can shift during this challenging time. I definitely encourage you to check it out. So we do have a question here in the comments. Ali says he wants to study online digital marketing. Do you have any recommendations on which website to choose to study online digital marketing?
Yes, that's a great question. And I actually have some tools prepared for that. So I want you to take a look at Coursera.com, or I think it's Coursera.org actually. And Coursera has these amazing, they're basically like mini degree types. They offer them from schools all over the country, actually all over the world. So some of the top schools you can find on that site that are offering these specializations. And so it's usually about 6 to 10 courses total, but it offers you actual certificates from whatever school that's from. So they have everything from Harvard to Oxford on there, UCLA, everything that you can sort of consider. And these are really high value sort of micro credentials, as they're called. And that's a really great way to keep busy in this time, right? Keep learning. Udemy is also offering a ton of really great courses. A lot of them are like free or nearly free. And if you're actually looking to just audit those, all of those can be audited for free, so you can sit in on them, learn everything without having to pay anything. So that's really, really valuable.
Awesome. Ali, I hope this answers your question. You can click the link, or you can't click it, but you can check out the link that I just posted. It's www.coursera.org. So that's what Adam was referring to. You can get all your free marketing courses on there. And I think they're doing some other courses as well to help you learn during this time. And we have
There's a ton, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll also give another shout out to Workforce Windsor-Essex. So they've got amazing tools that take a look at what the most in-demand jobs are now and sort of in the future. And so you can actually match it up. So you can go on that site, take a look at what the most in-demand skills are across all the different regions and all the different sectors, and then match it up with the types of sort of micro credentials that you decide to take in, because some are really valuable to employers right now.
Perfect. And this is the best time for anyone watching to build your portfolio and educate yourself. You're at home, start reading, start going on these courses online. I highly encourage it. It's something that will build yourself. And when we come out of this phase, you'll be back, more education and ready to go. So thanks for sharing that, Adam. This kind of ties into our next question. What are some activities students or anyone watching can get involved with to stay busy?
Yeah, so that was a perfect question because I had this at the top of my list was making sure that you're doing these micro credential programs. It's pretty commonplace now that university degrees or college diplomas, they're not the be all or end all, right? Everyone is about a constant growth mindset. We have to keep learning because technology doesn't stop, the world hasn't stopped, and so all of the uptake that we need to do in order to stay current, it has to be a constant process. And this doesn't have to just be sequestered to school programs or online courses. This comes to books, this comes down to webinars. So right now there is an endless amount of free webinars that are available for everybody. And there's some really great content providers that, maybe you wouldn't be able to see on a normal sort of day-to-day basis because they're so expensive. They're offering talks for free right now. So take a look at that. Elevate at Home is one really good one. It's the Canadian Tech Conference. They have weekly, I think they're called Game Changers conversations. So this week was Michelle Romanov from Clearbank. People may know her from Dragon's
Yep.
Den. And there was also one of the CTOs from Shopify was on there talking about Shopify Capital. So just incredible conversations. Please check those out.
Okay. Awesome. I think that's and was there a website for that?
So you can just look at Elevate Conference
Okay.
in Google, and it'll come right up.
Okay, awesome. So
Yeah, for sure.
this is something we can talk about that is going to be beneficial to people, that students, anyone, doesn't matter the age, that they can get involved with during quarantine. It's launching on May 2nd. I'm going to reveal it. Here we go. TechConnect Minecraft Creative Build Tournament. Tell me about that. How's it going? What is it?
It's a big one. We've got 139 registered already.
Wow.
So this is open to anyone in Windsor-Essex and Chatham-Kent. And the theme of this is Build the Future of YQG or CK Ontario. And so the idea behind this was we really just wanted a place, a digital space that's safe for everyone to come together and have some fun, right? I think, super important that we have lightness in our lives still. It's very easy to get bogged down with news and with everything that's sort of coming out. I personally have taken a huge Facebook diet in the last little bit just because it's such an overwhelming sort of amount of information. So this is a
Mhm.
really fun way to come on board. It's open to all ages. And so it was sort of the perfect segue to sort of bring it up. So, we're really talking about how to build the future of YQG and Chatham Kent. And so what we want to see here are things like smart homes, smart infrastructure, agriculture 2.0, buildings, monuments, bridges, anything you can imagine that sort of paints a picture of the brightest future for our region. And so, we've got some very esteemed judges that are going to be taking a look at these. We've got some great awards and some great prizes from Oven 360. So those are up for grabs. They'll be totally contactless delivery as well. And really, we just want people to come out and have fun. So it runs until Tuesday. Tuesday, we're going to have the judging ceremony, which will be really exciting as well. And I'll be in there all weekend taking pictures and seeing people go through the competition. It's still open to people to register. We actually have team tickets and individual tickets as well. So it's super easy to get. Really important is that there's a very specific type of Minecraft or version of Minecraft. So it's the Java edition. All of that information is on the Eventbrite link, which I think WeTech is going to share there.
Okay, awesome. And if anyone's watching, make sure to get involved with this. It's something fun to do during quarantine, spark some creativity, create something in the virtual world. So thank you for taking on this initiative, Adam. I think it's going to be really fun. And it
Oh,
looks
we
like
can't
you
wait.
have 151 registrants for this. So
So
that's
good.
awesome. That's incredible.
It
And I
goes up
think you guys,
every time I look.
yeah, that's great. And there's so much support. Everyone is looking for something to do, and you're making it happen. So I want to thank Adam for joining me on the show today. I definitely appreciate it. If anyone has some last minute questions, you can pop them below. But thank you for joining us and giving us some insight on how we can stay creative during quarantine. So thanks so much, and we'll talk soon.
Oh, Lyndon, it was such a pleasure. Thank you, and continue to do everything you're doing. You're a very bright star in Windsor Essex, and I cannot wait to see how you progress.
Awesome. I appreciate it. We have one last question here from Ali. How can I build my career during quarantine, if it's possible?
Yeah, in 60 seconds or less. You know what, Ali? What I would do is take a look at LinkedIn, and so make sure that your profile on LinkedIn is really top notch, is really creative, is really out of the box, thought through, and reach out. Right, talk to people. LinkedIn has a really great opportunity on there. It's called mentorship, and basically you flip a switch, and they connect you with all of these great professionals that have said they want to be mentors in your network, specifically in the industries that you're going into. So throw the switch on that, start connecting with people and really talk to them. And you know, there's never a better time to build yourself, build your personal brand when you've got, you know, some extra time on your hands, right? So now is that perfect time to think about sort of the goals that you want to achieve, and who you want to connect with, because people, because they've got a little bit more extra time on their hands, they're even more willing to help out. So reach out, make some connections. That's my
Awesome.
suggestion there.
Perfect. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate all your knowledge and support today. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time on Coffee with Craner.
Totally. Take care.
Bye now.